Alright, now for the serious video. So, the other day I spent a couple of hours just stripping it down. So I just removed all the fairings, and then once all those were gone, I was just left with like a rolling chassis with the engine still in it. So I removed the engine. That just comes out with 1, 2, 3, 4 mounting bolts, and I also had to disconnect the clutch lever, the throttle, which I just removed the carb, some sort of accelerator sensor, and a few other little bits like neutral light, and yeah, just a few wires. I just removed this whole wiring bit from there, and disconnected a little, what was that for? That was like, crap, oh, that's for the speedo. No, that's for the speedo. And this is for something else. I think that's for, because it has the separate oil tank off the throttle. It has one line going into the carb and one line going into here. I think this is like, it senses how much oil has to give or something like that. Anyway, I've just taken the engine off and just put a rag in there so it doesn't get dirty. So what I'm going to do is strip this back, so sand it, degrease it and stuff, and spray it with some gloss black engine enamel. I bought that. Then I'm going to sand back all these fairings now and remove this, and then I'm going to paint this with first some grey primer, and then sand it again, and then spray it with some red, like similar colour to this, and then yeah, do that to all the fairings, so that will be all like brand new again. And then I'm going to clean the frame back. I won't paint it, but I'm just going to clean it back. You can see that it's like all this stuff will come off. It's just a matter of getting some soapy water and cleaning the crap out of it. So yeah, I'm just going to clean it really well, get all that sort of shit off there, and then put it all back together again, and then it'll be like a new one. So that'll keep me busy for a while. Now I'm just going to start sanding that back and paint those. Once that's done, I'll sand the engine back, paint that, clean the chassis, and yeah, put it back together. So I'll keep you guys updated and see you later. Alrighty, so I've sanded back the first part, and sanded it, washed it with some car wash stuff, and then I sprayed it over the air compressor without touching it, just holding this, so I don't get any dirt on it at all. I've just hung it up with some wire up to one of the rails there, and now I'm going to give it a coat of grey primer, because I've got red paint, but I want the red to really be red. So if I put down like a white primer, then or you know, a light colour, it wouldn't really pronounce the red a lot. So I've got a darker primer, so the red is more darker red. So yeah, there's just cheap primer, grey primer, but that should do the job. So just shake that up and give that a light coat. Just it's called a mist, I don't know, something like that, a mist coat. You just give it a slight mist coat, hardly seeing colour, leave it for about 10 minutes, and then when you give the actual first layer of primer, it'll stick better. And then you leave it for an hour or so and do like another layer, and then give it like a half 24 hours, and then give it the couple of coats of red. Then finally finish it off with some clear coat. I've just scuffed it with some heavy grit sandpaper just to get it nice and grippy for the primer, and then I went over it with some fine grit, like 1000 grit sandpaper. And yeah, so I'll paint it now. Alright, I just laid down the dust coat. So basically what you want is just a dust looking coat. You just basically want to look like it's covered in dust. You don't want a wet looking coat. If it looks wet, you've done it too much. Like you can sort of see here, it looks a bit wet. I put a little bit too much. You don't want that gloss look. It doesn't matter too much on here. Sorry, it doesn't matter too much on here because it's the back of it. I'm just worried about the front. I just did that to show you guys what I meant, but you can see by here it's just like a dust coat and you can hardly see the colour. So you just want that, you leave it for about 15 minutes and then do your actual glossy sort of coat. Alright. Alrighty, I just laid on the second coat. So yeah, you can see you don't want to put a glossy coat on. You just lots of thin coats is better than one thick coat. So, or two thick coats. You just want lots of thin ones and then just build it up. Because if you put thick ones on, you'll get runs and it's not what you want. So I'm just going to take my time, put lots of thin coats on like this. I'll probably just put one more coat on after this, just wait about half an hour, and I think that'll be it for the primer. You can see it looks very nice. So yeah. It's turning out good. Alrighty, I'll just give it one more coat in about 20 minutes or so, and then wait maybe a day, and then whack on the red. I have to give it a sandback after I put the primer on, just with some fine 1000 grit sandpaper or 1200, and just a little bit, just to smooth it out a little bit, and then I'll whack on the red, and then finally the clear coat. Alrighty, I've just put the final coat on these two parts. So they're looking pretty damn good, I reckon. A lot better than before, that's for sure. Rhyme. So yeah, it's like a Honda red almost. It's quite nice. I didn't paint the back because the back wasn't painted originally, so I thought, oh, it'll probably just come off with engine heat, so no point really. And this is the front. I just painted this so yeah, that's why it looks so glossy. It needs a couple of coats of clear to go on after this as well. I didn't put a final coat on the rear because there's no real point, because you're not going to see it. So there's no real point wasting paint. And yeah, the colour is pretty damn close to the tank colour. Now it won't look like it right now because the tank's in light. This tank is not light. It's got about 6 litres of fuel in it. I'll show you once it's dry. I'll put these parts, once they're clear coated and everything, I'll put them next to the tank, and you can see it's pretty damn close. So I'm not going to have to respray the tank, which is good. Still got to sandback those two and paint those and clear coat and blah 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 blah. And then I go to sandback the engine, paint that. That's going to be a freaking big job. I'm not really looking forward to that one because the fins is going to be so much time to do it. I've got to sandback the muffler, give that a coat of black as well, and then finally I've got to clean the frame, and then the easy part of putting it back together again. So yeah, catch you guys. Alrighty guys, it's dark now. Time to go inside, but this is just the update of what I've done today. So I just gave the engine a coat of paint. I still need to paint the bottom half of it because I couldn't get that obviously. So makes it look real nice. Gets rid of all that. I sanded this back for freaking ages, and yeah, looks pretty good I reckon. Probably need another coat, but I got heaps of paint, so I didn't realise that I still had a can of that engine enamel, and I went and bought another one, so I got heaps. Anyway, I've painted all the plastics. It is slightly different red to the tank, but I think if I cut and shine the tank, it might bring it out and polish it. It might bring it out to that nice colour. If not, then I mean, I'll see how it looks when it's on the bike. It might not be too noticeable, but if it is, then I'll just have to paint the tank as well. But I still have to put a clear coat in all of these plastics, and yeah, like I said, I'll repaint the tank if it looks bad. It looks crappy. I've also cleaned the frame as much as I could, and that's pretty decent now. So yeah, looks pretty good. So now, or tomorrow, I just need to put another coat on the engine, and I'll have all that done. And then I'll whack the engine back in the frame. I'll put I guess some clear coat and put a clear coat in those plastics. Whack all that back on, so I should have the whole bike back together by tomorrow, really. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not a hell of a lot more to do. I need to order an air filter, and I don't know, then I just need a general cleanup and stuff like that. But probably next couple of days I should have it back together. I still need to sand this back and paint this, so I need to get some paint for that. I don't think engine enamel will be good enough for that. I'll give it a shot, but it says up to 120 degrees, and I think that'll get more than 120 degrees. I'll paint it with it, and if it burns off, it burns off, but yeah. Anyway, that's all for today, guys, so I'll catch you later.